Hello, social media friends. This is Beata Seweryn-Reid. I'm a speaker, coach, and change maker, and I welcome you back to Meaningful Conversations with Beata. And I have very special guest today for you. My guest is Debbie Debonaire. I really hope I didn't screw your last name. Why she is special? Well, first of all, because she is another change maker. And without change, without transformation, we would never move forward in our life. So I'm so excited for her. And her story is so inspiring that we won't go there yet, but I want to know, I'll let you know who she is. She is speaker, coach, emotional resilience counselor, a consultant, and it didn't come to her just because she decided when she was a little kid. It came to her through her own experience. Debbie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Beata. It's an absolute honor to be here. Thank you.
And just so everyone knows, she is meeting us from UK. Hello, UK. And Debbie, we're just gonna go straight to your story because you are so inspirational. You help other women and men. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, to go through their negative patterns and create transformation and empower the experiences that they go through. So today's topic is freedom to be you. Tell me what freedom means to you today.
Well, freedom to me today is to be able to live life on my own terms. Live the life that I thrive to live and love the life I live.
So from what I'm hearing, does it mean that there was a time in your life that you didn't have that freedom? You did not live life on your own terms? So can you tell us, how did you give up your freedom in the past?
Yeah. I gave up my freedom when I was 8 years old. And I gave that up to a bully at school. I was very physically bullied at school. And I often say now that I allowed myself to be bullied at 8 years old, and people find that very hard to kind of take in, that I allowed it. I was only 8 years old. How could I have stopped it? And I said, because I could have said no, but I didn't. I could have stood my ground, but I didn't. I gave myself away. So I was physically bullied from the age of 8. I was mentally bullied from the age of 11 to 30 something. While I was at home, and then when I progressed into married life. And through the bullying, I hid a lot. I wore a lot of masks, mainly through hiding behind characters. I got into drama, theatre, and hid behind all of the characters because I could be anybody but me. And that suited me down to the ground because I didn't want to be me. I was scared. Every time I was me, I was scared. And as I say, that went on until I was 30 something. During that time, the bullying, the mental abuse, the trauma that it caused spiraled me into clinical depression. I had agoraphobia twice, and I failed 3 attempts at suicide. Now when I talk about it, I say all of those things happened for me and not to me. Mm. And the reason I say that is I never really knew I had a purpose on this earth, because why was I put through all of that if there was a purpose to it all? Until I had what I call my oh shit moment, which was right in the depths of my clinical depression. It was just before, I think, the third attempt at suicide. And I woke up in the middle of the night. In fact, it was 2 a.m. in the morning, disheveled on the top of the bed, clutching an empty red wine bottle. I didn't drink that much, so it was quite a shock to wake up to find that I had that. But what was more shocking was that my little boy, who was 8 years old at the time, was asleep next door in the bedroom next door. And that's why I call it my oh shit moment, because I sat up in bed and said, oh shit, my little boy is asleep next door. As I swung my legs round in the bed and sat up straight facing the bedroom door, I had a vision of my son. Now, it felt like he'd walked through the bedroom door and was this close to my face. And the look in that little boy's eyes, the tears streaming down his face, made me realise that my little boy needed his mummy. Sorry, it still gets me now. And from that day forward, I realised that I needed to be here for my little boy, despite what everybody had said, that I wasn't a fit mother. You know, who the hell did I think I was? What, you know, I wouldn't account to much. I'd even been told that I was a mistake, that I was a hole in a condom, which made me feel that I never fitted into my family, feeling like the black sheep of the family. So I was contending with all of that. And when you're told that you're not a fit mother, and the reason I tried to take my life each of those times was I wanted to remove the toxicity in my son's life. And I had been led to believe that I was the toxicity in his life. So from that day forward, I started on a very difficult journey forward to create a better life for me, a better life for my son, but most of all, to find who I truly was, because she'd been lost since the age of 8 years old. And when I conquered clinical depression and overcame the suicides, I was able to find who the real me was. And I went on to get a first-class honours degree at the age of 47. I conquered the Inca Trail, which was a 12-day trek raising money for a children's disability challenge, a charity. And I raised £3,500 for that charity. Despite damaging my leg on the very first day, I was determined I would get to the end. It was a fulfilled lifelong dream that I'd had from first year of high school, when I did the stuff on the Incas in a history lesson. And that then transpired to me having to have a hip replacement. And all of that made me realize that, you know, I was actually more resilient than I thought I was, but also it gave me the understanding that I did have a purpose on this earth. And the purpose on this earth was to show other people that we all have a purpose on this earth, and we can all live life on our terms, because we do have choices, and it's about making the choices that are right for you.
Wow, thank you for sharing these personal stories. It's, you know, I have still chills and I'm shaking a little bit how strong and courageous you were, even in your lowest moments. And how many of us, we have these moments and we hide behind other personalities just to cover the pain, the invisible pain that we have on the inside. And because of that, you know, it makes me curious, because when we are injured, when we broke a bone, we hurry to the hospital and to cure it, to treat it. But hardly ever people feel ashamed admit that they are injured on the inside. Their heart is emotionally injured. So my question is, why people don't treat their emotional injuries? What is your experience with it?
From my experience, there's a lot of negative emotions in there. So there's guilt, there's shame, there's embarrassment, there's a feeling of, well, they're to blame, so who's going to help them when it's their own fault? When actually it's not their own fault. But that's, and I think they're the four main ones: guilt, shame, embarrassment, and the fact that they feel that it's their fault. It's their fault that they've been abused. It's their fault that they're not good enough. It's their fault that, they're not living the life that they want to live. It's their fault that the marriage broke down. It's their fault that they didn't get on in the world. It's their fault that they didn't achieve at school. And it's all of that kind of piling up one after the other. That becomes the heavy burden that people carry around with them. And those heavy burdens then show themselves, because the body and the mind, the heart and the brain, they work in such a way that they're telling you need to do something about it. But because we don't know how to read that, we don't see it. So it comes out in the forms of stress, anxiety, depression, overwhelm, backache, physiological ailments, psychological ailments, and it's just a pressure of everything that's built up over the years. And it's when you get the understanding that the psychology and physiology are actually quite closely intertwined in many cases. I'm not saying all cases, but in many cases, as you work through the psychology of it and then the physiology of it, you can find yourself in less pain, both physically and mentally. And in many cases, eradicate the pain altogether.
Wow. So from what I'm hearing is taking responsibility for whatever happened in life. And first we say, I was there too. I was like, why this life is happening to me? What else I can carry? I hate it. But then when you go through the transformation, the process of inner healing, you see that actually it happened for me. So I can, when you say your story, and I heard your story already, but now when I'm like asking you a question, so I'm living your story again, you just remind me the phoenix that just, came up from the ashes, spread the wings, and said, no, I matter. I matter, and I will take responsibility for everything that happened for me, and I'm gonna create the life on my own terms. I love it. It's so inspirational. But you talk about guilt, blame, the shame, all these negative feelings that we carry around, and sometimes we carry them an entire life. So how did you find the strength or wisdom to embrace that feelings during your healing process?
I carried all the way through that healing process, and even today, I carry that image of my little boy. My little boy is now he'll be 29 next month. Okay. no longer.
Still gonna be my boy.
He's still my baby, but he's 6 foot, 28 years old, going on 29. But it's that vision. That vision is what carried me through. And every time I had what I call a blip, in the respect where I kind of went a few steps back, I never, ever went too far back, because he always came into my mind. So that, it is difficult when you're going through the transformation, but when you have either people supporting you or you are that, you don't realize you have that inner strength. But that picture gave me the inner strength to move on. And yes, I did go to therapy. Alas, that was very good in the beginning, opened my eyes to a lot of things. But unfortunately, it was one of the causes of me taking a few steps back, because the person that I went for the therapy to actually crossed the boundaries of professionalism and got feelings for me. And it spiraled me kind of back to the, you know, you're not good enough. Who do you think you are? Get down off your pedestal and all that kind of thing. So I then realized, well, actually, I've come this far. I can do the bloody rest myself, and I can get there, because one, my little boy was depending on me getting there. And two, as I got stronger, I then realized what my purpose was. And that purpose was to reach out to people and let them know that suicide is not the answer. We are all here for a reason.
Yes.
Suicide is not the answer. And there are people out there that will take your hand when you reach out with it. And there are people there that when you ask for help in whatever way that is, will take hold of your hand, because it's not the answer. And you deserve a life worth living. And, you know, the reason people turn to suicide or you know, the reasons are numerous. Okay. Absolutely numerous. And I've worked with a lot of people who a lot of the time say, I can't do it, Debbie. I don't know how to move forward. I keep going back to the same thing. I don't know what to do. I do so much and then I fall back, and then I do a bit more and then I fall back. And I say, you have to keep doing that little bit more, because each time you do the little bit more, the step you take back is only a smaller step each time. And you never go back to, well, I haven't had anyone yet go back to the step they started at.
Right.
You know, and it's allowing people to understand the dynamics of everything that they're going through. And it may not just be one thing, you know, and that's why I look at the whole person holistically: mind, body, soul, and cover 6 areas of their life. The most important that I feel are the 6 areas in their life that need to be addressed, because it can be that there's more than one area in their life that is causing the burden to be heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier.
And most of the time, there is more than one area in our life that is causing us being stuck, unhappy. And there are stories that we have that happened for us, but we still, like you said, feel like it happened to us, and it's the biggest pain. I love it. From what you just said, I think it's very important to highlight that when we are in our lowest and we go through these difficult moments, it's worth to find the anchor that you can, the vision that you can go to and find the strength. For you, it was your little boy. Thank God for him. And thank God that you loved him so much that you saw that, oh my God, he needs me. I cannot fail him. And to me, because not everyone has that kind of anchor. So, but I think if we just take this focus from us and stop focusing on the pain and what we think is causing the pain very often, and look at around who else might need me today, it can be this anchor, that vision, that helping and serving others to find our own freedom. And it's what basically happened in my life. I found my freedom through helping others. But I have that question that I'm really curious about what you're gonna say about. First, what is there something that you procrastinated too long in your life, and you see it in your clients' life, in other people's lives, that we just have tendency to do it? What is it?
I procrastinated most of my life. I lived in victimhood mode for most of my life. And the thing I procrastinated on the most was that I can't do it. I can't do it. Nobody can show me how to do it. I can't do it. And even when I was working through the transformation, there were dark days when I would say, I can't do it. I just can't do it anymore. And that's where a lot of people, they get so far, and it can become so overwhelming that they've come so far. And the reason it's so overwhelming is because they're just on that brink of just going to that next step where they can leave everything that they've already dealt with behind. But because it becomes so overwhelming, they start procrastinating, and they feel themselves slipping back, and it's catching them before they start slipping back. But like I said, yes, you can go back steps, but you don't slip right back to where you started from. And it's understanding
because you're already aware. Yes, you're already aware of where you were and
how far you've come.
Yeah, how far you've come, and you just know, I matter. I'm even, sometimes during the process of healing and transformation, you're gonna have that days when you still feel down, when you feel doubt, and that I don't matter. But you go to the rabbit hole, what I call, but then it's like, I don't like that rabbit hole anymore. I don't want to be here. So you are very quickly focus on getting out of it. I think it's the biggest strength that you gain after going through transformation and healing and self-awareness. Because this freedom, when you taste that freedom of being you just a little bit, it's addicting. You're like, I want more of it. I agree to that.
Yeah. And I do get people, come to me and they say, look, I've done all this, Debbie, but I don't feel it's working, and I don't feel I'm getting anywhere. And what we have to do is look at, and we actually have to say to them, look at where you were. Look how far you've come. I always say, never look back unless you're looking back to see how far you've come.
Absolutely.
You must always look in front of you, because that's what you're aiming for. If you keep looking back for whatever reason other than just to see how far you've come, then it's stopping you. And a lot of people, I find, and I say this quite often, a lot of people live in the present, in the past. And what that does is it stifles their future. So it's about, you may have to revisit the past, but what you're revisiting is not necessarily the event. You are revisiting the feelings.
Right.
So that you can change the feelings and bring the new feelings and emotions to the present, instead of bringing the past emotions to the present.
Absolutely. And I think you said it beautifully. Revisit the past, but don't stay there. And yet, how many of people is staying there, reliving this painful memories of the situation, because you are not there anymore, but emotionally you are living it over and over. And I've been there too. But thank God I found the mentors that showed me, you don't live there anymore. You have permission to move on. If you don't want to give yourself that permission, I'm giving you to that. Yes. And sometimes people need that permission from the mentors and coaches. So thank you for being one of them. So how do you celebrate life today?
Oh, I celebrate life in quite a few ways. I celebrate life with what I do every single day, being able to move people forward out of the past, and show them that, you know, they do have a purpose on this earth, they do have a future. So I celebrate that every single day. You know, it may be that someone's really struggling, but, you know, they turn around and say, oh my God, Debbie, I didn't see it that way. And oh my God, yeah. And you know, the techniques and the exercises we use, you know, has different ways for different people. You know, they use them in different ways because everybody's unique.
Absolutely.
But I celebrate every day when I wake up that I've been given another day to make a difference. I am through finding my own freedom. I don't just celebrate my life, but I celebrate other people's lives as well, which I think we might talk about at the very end.
Yes, yeah, we can talk about that now, actually. It's perfect.
Okay, yeah. And that is, I came up, in fact, it was December when I did the very first one, and I didn't actually call it a life celebration in December. What I called it was the freedom to be you. And it came originally from me finding the freedom to be me. And I called it the freedom to be me now. But then I realized that sounded like it was all about me, and it wasn't. It was about other people. So I changed it to the freedom to be you now. So in December, I created an event with 10 amazing women who shared their stories of overcoming suicidal thoughts, adversities, challenges, to now be shining in their own uniqueness. And then at the end of March, on March 31st, it actually has gone up a level, and it's now the freedom to be you life celebrations. And it is 21 women, 22 including me, because I do actually do my own at the beginning, celebrating their life from where they came from to where they are now, thriving in their own uniqueness, having overcome suicidal thoughts or adversities or challenges, and are now thriving in their own uniqueness. And I will be celebrating that with them starting on the 31st of March for 21 days. And I aim to do 4 a year if I can. Because,
wow,
you know, it's about celebrating life and showing people that suicide is not the answer. And we can help you celebrate your life.
And you are not alone.
No, absolutely not.
Yes, so I'm happy and honored to be one of the speakers in upcoming summit. So I very really happy to have you here and actually share that with people. And what is the best way to find you, first of all, to connect with you and sign up for the summit? Because people, if you listen to it, this is gonna be awesome. 21, 22, basically. You heard a little bit of Debbie's stories, but 22 stories of overcoming adversity and coming to the life, living life on our own terms. And it's what is freedom about. My freedom started when I realized that everything because you were also talking about opinions of others, and that they decided if you are worthy or not. There is a day when you have to decide for yourself, and it all starts with your mind for me, and it's where it started. But I won't release more of that story. Please sign up. And so where is the best way to sign up for the summit?
Okay, the best way to sign up is to go to www.heartact.co.uk/life-celebrations. And that's where you register.
Okay, so we can drop that link under the video when we are done, because I didn't know about the second part. I didn't think about, I guess. But if you go to your website, www.heartact.co.uk, you can find some information about the summit also?
You may have to click onto the life celebration. You might have to put in the life celebration. I'm not sure we've got a link on the page about it.
But
we may have by the 31st, but I don't want to say we will have.
All right.
You know,
but to find
technology
out
kicks in now and again.
To find more about you, it's the best way to go and see what you do, how you do it, who do you support, and all
I'm
this.
also on Facebook as well.
Right.
My Facebook page is Heart Act Approach, and I also have a community that I've just launched. It's only 4 weeks old, which is a big mission of mine, which is the Freedom to Be You movement.
Yes, and I'm sure that you can just Google your first name and last name, and it's web. I think Facebook is the first that actually is
I think so.
coming. And so please, everyone, please go and check who Debbie is, how she can help, and first of all, join us in the summit, because it's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible. I cannot wait to hear all the stories. When I was sharing mine, I was moved, because you go to your past, you go again, but then you realize, like you said, Debbie, look how far I've come. This is my freedom. It's me, and I'm not gonna go away. I'm standing in my power. I'm standing tall, and I don't care. I'm me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the biggest things that I always say to people is the life that you want to live is your choice.
Yes.
And what I want to say to each and every one of you is choose life, choose freedom, and most of all, choose you.
I don't see better way to end that conversation. Choose life, choose freedom, choose you. Thank you, Debbie, so much for being here, for inspiring others and helping them overcome challenges, because we all experience adversity in life. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. My pleasure. For everyone who is watching us and will watch us later on the replay, please #replay. Tell us what inspired you in Debbie's story. Sign up for the summit, and please find me. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, and my website, beatalifecoaching.com. I'm here for you with change makers and that are sharing their stories every Tuesday at noon Mountain Standard Time. Another request is, please share that video. Please share that video with everyone who you know, your family, friends, because you never know who might need to hear that words of inspiration, and they might not know that there is a summit that might change their life. Maybe they are in the rabbit hole at the moment and they need someone to lift them up. This show is for you to bring hope, raise awareness, and inspire transformation. So please help us to build it and share. Have a wonderful day. My name is Beata, and I'm so happy to have you here and serve you. Debbie, again, I love you. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thank you so much, Beata.